Party's over, it's the next day after the Tim Burton ball, and I just wanted to kind of tell people back home about how the night went. Because I've been living in Austin for 4 months, and this is still the only pal I got right now. So, vlogging to tell everybody back home how things went. And also talk a little bit about how I made my costume, because I'm pretty happy with it. If you didn't see my post from last night, I just spent 6 hours dressed up as Beetlejuice. I just took home first prize. Uh-oh, the cash fell out of the envelope. I went to a Tim Burton themed costume ball as Beetlejuice and got first prize in the costume contest. Made such a trash heap in the bathroom doing the makeup in 15 minutes. And then I get in the car, because I know it's a 2.5 hour drive, because I checked it the night before, right before I went to sleep. And I get in the car and I turn on the GPS. I had that avoid highway setting on when I checked the travel time before. I pretty much just arrived there an hour early in costume. They make you get in this line. All these like pale-faced Tim Burton fans are standing out in the sun. I'm in full makeup and costume, just, you know, starting to melt. But then once I got in, it was just like, you know, everybody's coming up to me, we're getting pictures taken. Some people would throw some Beetlejuice references at me, and I'd have to kind of go through my catalog really quickly and go, where's that in the movie, and come back. It was less like a ball and more like a convention. There were vendors, you know, selling jewelry and posters and artwork and stuff. And then there was this basement room that had 500 toilets in it, and it absolutely thoroughly smelled like shit, and it was so hot down there, but it was the only place that had chairs. I mean, there were other costumes that were really good, and I doubt mine was on a technical level the best. And there were definitely a few people who just didn't even enter the contest that had fantastic costumes. There was a penguin guy there who was just doing everybody a favor by not getting on stage with the other contestants. Speaking of the penguin, I think he said it best in Batman Returns.
It's about reaching out to people, touching people, groping people.
I was taking pictures with people so much. It was back to back. There was a line formed on both sides of me. There were 2 other people dressed in the same costume. And then there was probably, I'm gonna say 4 other like cosplayed Beetlejuice. Somewhere between 1 and 2 million people dressed in various forms of Beetlejuice. Yeah, we'll go with that. And I was worried the same thing was gonna happen, that I was gonna miss the contest, and you couldn't hear the announcements from 2 of the rooms. 30 minutes, I think I stood in line to sign up for the contest. And then when it finally happened, it was like half an hour late. I had been there talking in this voice for like 5 hours at that point, and I feel like I took a picture with everybody in that party. They did like 4 rounds, and it was really disorganized.
W, sweetheart.
That's the same list!
That's the same list! You're drunk!
Don't scream that!
I'm gonna say a lot of people who were in excellent costumes up there did not get a fair shake because of how disorganized the contest was. I mean, I put a lot of work into mine, but at the same time, like I said, I feel like I talked to everybody there. I'm sure it was like half the people or fewer. And so it was like by the end of the night, I had gotten this like reputation. I'd made single serving friends with, you know, I don't know, like 100 people or 200 people or something. And so once I got on stage, it was less about my costume, I think, and more about the Beetlejuice character that I had like shared with all these other Beetlejuice fans. So the lady gets on stage and she asks everybody their names.
What is your name and who are you playing?
I'm Mackenzie and I'm Edward Scissorhands.
And I hear her, you know, do the first few people. What's your name? Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, I know what I have to say to that. Because the first time Lydia Dietz meets Beetlejuice in the movie, she asks for his name.
What's your name?
Well, I can't tell you.
So when she got to me, you know, that's what I said. And the crowd just lost it.
What is your name and who are you playing?
I can't tell you.
It was such a great moment. Everybody in the crowd knew what the line was. It was like this connection going back to like when we were all kids 30 years ago watching Beetlejuice. And then I had to follow that up with the qualifications speech. There's just nothing like the reaction that came out of the crowd when I did that.
I take you to art. I'm a graduate of the Harvard Business School. I travel quite extensively, and I lived in Black Lake. I had a pretty good time doing that. I've seen The Exorcist about 167 times, and it keeps getting funnier every single time I say it. Not to mention the fact that you're talking to a dead guy. Now, what do you think? You think I'm qualified?
So yeah, in the end, I think it was about interacting with people. I think I won more for the sake of showmanship.
Fifth contestant! I hate you. Seventh contestant! I hear you. Well then, I think we know who our winner is. Let's give it up for a Beetlejuice right here! First winner, go ahead, stand on the side. Everyone else can make your way to the right. We will be bringing our second group.
Because everybody kind of did their line, you know, the few people pulled off saying a line or something from their character.
I just want to know what the Alamo is. I'm looking for my bike.
You can't wear an outfit like that and just act like a normal person. I can.
We have 5 contestants left. 4th contestant, Beetlejuice!
Working with a professional here, you bunch of losers!
Okay, so let's say for a fact, first place, second place, you can say this.
I mean, like, after I took it off, I was still doing the voice for like half an hour or something. It was really cool, and it wasn't just like, you know, like an ego boost. I'm sure it must have been, to some degree. How do I articulate this? I think the feeling I was walking away from it was more to do with being exposed to the connections that we were making, me and all these strangers. It was really kind of like John Lennon's concept of bagism, you know, imagine a world where, you know, everything's stripped away and all you are is just whatever yourself is, except we were stripping away everything except for being Tim Burton and Beetlejuice fans. And so when that's all there is between you and this other person, it's kind of like you're both like really beautiful to each other for a moment. And I was just kind of high off of that all night and after the show. And I think I might do something like this again. Maybe in a tuxedo or something in stripes. We'll see. But yeah, let's talk about my costume. So the shirt was the biggest curveball because I always thought that the shirt had little bugs on it. But after doing some research and some image analysis, I realized it was a bunch of little lions. So yeah, they got this this material at Michael's. It's basically like a giant eraser. And then I glued it onto a piece of wood, stuck it in some acrylic paint. Did some experimentation on a piece of wood, trying to figure out the exact right amount of paint. I did try an inking pad for a while, but that was a disaster. It didn't completely cover, so I had to go in and do some touch-ups with like a Sharpie marker. Because this was a really nice, brand new women's shirt at Goodwill. I'm gonna say about $4, maybe $4 or $6. The muck on here is dry brushing, where you take a paintbrush, you dip it in paint, and then you'd get almost all the paint off of it. Mixed a few colors together. I did some gray, I did some green and some yellow. This is my makeup coming off. Then fraying the edges. I tried a few different things, but the method that worked the best turned out to be using a beard trimmer and just holding it really tight against the edge there. Every once in a while I would just nick it really hard to get some big tufts out of there. The tank top was essentially the same thing. It's a women's tank top. I got it at Goodwill. It cost $5 for this tank top, but that was cheaper than buying a pack of tank tops for like 15 or 20 bucks at Walmart. So this is a women's tank top, and again, acrylic paint. Tried to get it vommy. Oh, and then there was the pants. These were also women's pants, capris from Goodwill, so another like $5 or something. I didn't work too hard on these. There's just not a lot of detail that I could pick up on in the movie. So again, just going over the edges with the trimmer. The other two people who dressed up in the same costume both asked me about my hat, because this is kind of the holy grail of this costume. Everybody, including myself, we all had to make our own. This is a fake cop hat from Party City. I took the badge off the front. I used a safety pin to like pin down the top of it a little bit because it was just so enormous and stupid. Yeah, I spray painted it gray. I had some gray primer, and then I did a couple of passes on printing this on paper, different sizes. Just printed it out and glued it to a piece of cardboard. And I just had these left over from my my chessboard project that I just did. I did a really watered down gray acrylic paint. Did some more dry brushing on the pins to make them look a little aged, because this was just a shiny piece of crap. And one guy I talked to who was in the same costume, I felt his pain, because all he could find was cop hats for strippers. And I did have to go through a lot of stripper cop hats to get to this. How do you know it's a stripper cop hat? When there's glitter. That's the difference. The wig I'm really happy with, because this is something that I feel like it's a bit divisive. It's what Beetlejuice's hair is. I did look at pictures of Michael Keaton getting his makeup done, and it's just insane how much green they put on him. And in that new Broadway musical, his hair is just green. I've seen him referred to as a green-haired ghoul, but nah, the dude's blonde, and he's got the green rot in his hair. It's kind of like Jack Nicholson said when he played the Joker, and he was correcting Tim Burton on how much green there is.
It wasn't too bright, too green. You know, when you look at the drawings, his hair is not bright green. You almost see it as a lighting effect.
And this is not an official Beetlejuice wig. You can buy a Beetlejuice wig, but what you get is you get the half bald cap, and you get just basically like gray mad scientist hair. It just goes out in every direction. It's certainly too big for a hat. See, Beetlejuice does not have mad scientist hair. You got to look at the length up here and the short up here. He's got a ghost mullet. That's what he's rocking there. So instead of going with the Beetlejuice wig, I went with a $15 rocker mullet from Amazon, which is ironic that I got it for its mulletness, and then immediately I put it on backwards. The bangs made such great like tufts for the back of the head. I just kind of put it on my head and just went at it with the scissors until it was properly Beetlejuice shaped.
Change the wig.
I brought it in here and put it on this guy, and I put in the green acrylic paint and a little bit of yellow paint for where I went too far on the green. Yeah, the wig was really one of the most important parts, because my makeup wasn't going to be great. The makeup's kind of funny, actually. This is all I used, really, just the white base, and then just a few of these little ones for the details, and some white powder. Got it all at Party City for about $20. And then immediately regretted that and purchased this stuff at Walmart for about $3. Took everything back to Party City, and now this is all gross and garbage. So, lesson learned about cheap makeup. I wasn't gonna do stomach padding, but I was glad to know that I had to in order to complete the look. And I went to Goodwill to like buy some pillows, and there's like throw pillows like this there for $9. And then I find this piece of crap at Walmart for $2. I don't understand what's going on at Goodwill. And I cut some fluff out of there, and I actually still have a pillow if I want to sew that back up. I don't know. I almost forgot about the coat. A lot of this stuff ended up coming from Old Navy. Look at that. The coat was such a unplanned last-minute thing. It's really underdone. It does not have a lot of detail all the way throughout, and there's certainly more that I could do. Because up until the day of, the coat I was going to wear with this was... See, I already own a coat. This is a coat that I have had for years. It's like a nice raincoat. So I didn't want to destroy it. So what I ended up doing, I took some cheap spider webs. I glued magnets to the spider webs. And then I used magnets to hold them onto the jacket. I wanted the jacket to be okay, and I felt awful about that. And then on the last day, I was driving home from buying the makeup. I saw the Salvation Army, and I told myself, if I see a thrift store on the way home, I'll stop. And this coat's in there for $15. Blue tag sale, got it for $7, and it fit perfect. It was the right color, it was the right design, and I got it home and immediately found out that this thing is made of high quality titanium alloys because I could not damage this fucking thing. I went at it with the beard trimmer. I mean, there's just not a lot of damage. And what I ended up using, dude. So I ended up pinning this thing to the floor and just going at the coat with this sucker. This is still the amount of damage I was able to get. So if anybody's looking for a nice quality raincoat, I guess they make them at Old Navy, because I could not damage this thing without having a lot of time. I was kind of scrambling. I threw some ash on there from burning incense. Then I just went over the whole thing with a heavy belt sander. So that kind of took some of the thread out. That sander collects dust. So then I just poured that out over the whole coat. Hot glued some spider webs to it. I made such a mess scrambling to do this. Just took a bowl, threw a rice cake in there, poured 3 colors of paint on it, and just started mashing it up. And then I just poured a couple strands of hot glue on here and literally just pressed the coat into the bowl. I got a lot of pieces of painted rice cake stuck to the floor. I'm pretty sure a lot of this is gonna come up, but if I keep this up, I'm not getting my deposit back. There's no way. I had an hour to finish this up before having to leave for San Antonio. All in all, of materials purchased just for the costume, I'm gonna say about $70. So with the prize money, that's a profit. And if anybody doesn't believe me that I was at the Burton ball and what is that? Now come on, this just occurred to me. They're using the font from Batman Forever. What the hell? I mean, I guess he produced it, but still. But yeah, there it is. Boom. Costume contest winner. That's all they give you. I mean, there's money inside of it, but yeah, this is just this shoddy envelope. What's funny, though, is in my quest to collect everything Skull that I find cute and clever, I bought this little gold statue at Party City, and I hadn't opened it yet. Price was marked wrong, so I was gonna take it back, but look at that. It's a best costume statue. I think I've earned opening this piece of crap and keeping it around, and I am a hobbyist, so I have lots of different types of very sharp knives. And don't worry, folks, I am left-handed. Oh, God. There we go. I'll put you right here in front of the dragon for now. Beautiful. Beautiful.